Wow, that was such a fantastic presentation by Mr. Balakrishna. Very informative and very entertaining as well. Thank you so much. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I thank Mr. Rajiv Raghunath and his team for inviting me here. Such a pleasure to be here. I sat through the earlier three presentations. Thank you, Mr. Raja. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Very informative, very enriching information we are getting here. So the three speakers who came here before me were from the media owners. I stand here to represent the advertisers. So I'm from LIC, and I'm going to talk to you about how transit media can best be leveraged by BFSI industry. So actually, we live in times where people have the power to shut you up in 6 seconds. Okay? So before you switch off and you shut me up, I would rather tell you what I want to cover. So this is what I'll be talking about here. Very briefly, I would cover about the Indian advertising agency industry, what is the growth and what is the projection. Then how the requirements of BFSI differ as compared to other advertising verticals, and how transit media best fits the requirements of BFSI industry. Then we'll also talk about the various formats. In brief, of course, a lot has been covered here already. So about the formats of transit media. And I'll also take you through how LIC has been leveraging transit media to our advantage. Okay, so this is a brief about what I'm going to talk here. So let's take a look at this number. The industry size, Indian ad industry size today stands at 68,475 crores. It has been growing over the past 5 years in the range of 8 to 11%. And if you take a look at how it is expected to grow in the next 5 years, so by 2025, it could reach 1,33,921 crores. So that makes a CAGR of about 11.83%. Okay? So while these are the industry numbers, but not everybody in the industry, if you take a look at the various industry verticals, how much are they spending? So no guess, FMCG is the largest consumer of media. 30% is taken by FMCG, and then it is followed by e-commerce 10%, auto 10%. And if you take a look at others, maybe BFSI stands at 5%. So that's the total consumption BFSI takes. Okay? And now, if you take a look at the various media which are available here, so again, no guess, TV is the largest, takes the largest chunk. 39% is taken away by TV. 29% still goes to print. The next is digital media, 20%. Radio 4%, cinema 2%, and OOH, which includes transit media, stands at 6%. But these numbers that you see here are industry average. So if you look at various verticals in the industry, it is not equally consumed by everyone. So take a look at these numbers, and please focus on BFSI here. So when you see this, numbers here, you can see that BFSI consumes 17% of the total spends go on TV, whereas print takes a larger chunk of 25%. So there is a reason. If you compare it with FMCG, you'll be surprised to see that maybe it is not a surprise. TV takes 61%, print takes 10%. So why is this different? Why is BFSI spending 25% on print and FMCG spending 10% on print? Maybe it's an easy guess to understand that the nature of product that FMCG offers and the nature of product that BFSI offers is very different. We are into offering intangible products, something that you cannot feel and see. And obviously, if it has to be sold to the customer, we need to talk to the customer, we need to educate the customer. Let me give you some examples here. Take a look at this picture. This is Fab India. Okay? So you don't see too many texts here, just a beautiful picture. The model and the product on it, and the logo there, Fab India. So it says it all. I mean, you don't have to really talk much about it. Or maybe take a look at this picture. So you have a beautiful model there, and the product on the model, and just a tagline and the logo. So it says it all. You don't have to really talk much about it. So when you are selling Fab India, you don't have to talk about fabric. You don't have to talk about style, design, cut, sizes, nothing. Okay? Or talk about biscuits, Britannia. So you have a naughty brand ambassador there, sweet tagline, not so sweet, or maybe unlock the magic, the product picture, not too wordy, not too texty, okay? So that's how you sell FMCG to consumers. Take a look at this picture. This is an advertisement of LIC, our high-end product, 𝐥𝐞𝐲𝐿, okay? Now, I'm sure you can't read anything out there, yeah? It's so texty, so wordy. Another one, 𝐥𝐞𝐲𝐿. Again, you will see, it has got so much of text, there's a picture, but I can't sell the product to you just by showing you the picture, or maybe the name of the product. So there are so many words and so many, I mean, it's so texty. These details have to be given to you if I need to sell this product. I mean, like if, last time that I was here with my colleague, and there was a question from the audience, and we were questioned about why are your hoardings have so much of text? Your hoardings have so much of text and they're not readable. So why do you do that? And we will definitely agree with you. But you know, the moment you spend so much of money and you get a medium to express, so from BFSI industry, we always feel tempted to talk more and more or part more and more of information. So that is why whether it is print or it is hoarding, they are always so texty. But I mean, like, don't blame it only on LIC. I'll also present you some advertisements from other companies in the insurance sector. So this is Max. So don't blame us. It's not just us who are so texty. So this Max is also texty. Take a look at HDFC. It's again texty, okay? And this is ICICI Pru. So any ad that you see from BFSI, I mean, whether you talk about banking sector or you talk about mutual fund industry, take a look at their ads. You'll always find us to be very wordy and texty in our advertisements, okay? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so this is SBI Life, and you'll be very glad to see that there is less of text here, okay? And I love this ad. This is not, this is a competitor brand, but beautiful ad. 𝐻𝐿 से हम का कदम, okay? And there's very few words over there, but you will understand the difference why the other advertisements which I showed you earlier in the previous slides had so much of text, and here there is just a few words here. You know why? Because this is an ad which talks about the brand. So this is just to create awareness about the brand. So when you are only creating brand awareness, this can serve the purpose. But when you have to sell a product, you can't sell a product. Or if you want to create just awareness about a product, you can manage with few words. But when you want to sell a product, you cannot sell an insurance product without giving so much of text out there. Maybe I'm speaking a little too fast. I intentionally try to reduce my speed, but I speak very fast. And there's a story behind it, and since it is very relevant, I would want to share it with you, why I speak so fast, you know. As a small schoolgirl, when I would return from school, I would be full of exciting stories to tell, and my audience used to be my elder sister. So the moment you reach home, bag ek taraf patka, and then you run to your elder sister and say, you know, pata aaj kya hua? And my they would say, okay, yeah, she used to be very nice to me and would sit through my stories, but my stories always used to be very long and narrative, and she would soon run out of patience. And then you say, jaldi bol yaar. And when you say jaldi bol yaar, so I mean, like, you can't cut down your story. You don't know how to narrate it in few words. So then the only way out is you start speaking too fast. So, so whether it's me or everybody else here sitting in this hall from the advertising world, so we all suffer from the same problem. We all have the same challenge, which is that the attention span of our audience is very, very short, okay? And then with this short attention span, either you have to tell a short story or you have to tell the story very fast, and that's when we get this kind of things, you know. I mean, you know how fast it is read. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risk. Please read the offer documents carefully before investing, okay? So my speed is still slower. This is read in much faster speed than this. So we come from a world, BFSI world, where not just you have to talk about your product, but there are so many mandatory declarations also that you need to cover. So you have a short time, you have short attention span, and you have to cover so much of story to tell. So then, in that case, what is the... And so that is the reason that we have been consuming print media. I showed you an earlier slide, where our consumption for TV is lesser, BFSI consumption for TV is lesser, and for print it is 25%. Because print offers us the medium where you can tell your long stories, you can write everything about your product, and you assume that your your consumer is going to read through all of that, okay? But take a look at these numbers. These are the growth forecast for various medium, okay? Digital we know is going to grow at a very high rate, but print, I'm sorry, Mr. Balakrishna, but the truth is print is dying, yeah? So we are trying to revive it, we are trying to make it survive, but print is dying. So then what happens is the answer is transit media, you know? And these slides I will rather skip because Mr. Raghunath has covered all this in his presentation very well, that why we need transit media. Urban population is increasing, the working population is increasing, tourism is increasing. So these are all the reasons why transit media is becoming popular. And these are some of the formats that we know. And airport at the top, of course, as Mr. Balakrishna had put it, the Brahmins of transit media. So we'll just take a look quickly at what is happening here and what are the formats available and how LIC is leveraging all these formats. So airport, of course, I will also start with the Brahmins of the formats, which is airport. Okay, we do spend a lot of money here. So when you enter an airport, we are there to welcome you. You pull the trolleys, we are there on the trolleys, and then you enter the aircraft, advertisement is there. We use all of it, whether it is the luggage bin or the seat pack, or maybe when you're at the airport, or when you leave the airport. So that's how LIC has been leveraging media of the airport. We next come to railways, and I mean, like it was I was very happy to sit through and understand what are the media assets that are going to be created in the future as well. And railway is, of course, a very, very rich transit media. To take you back to the story of me and my elder sister, my dad was in Air Force. So, and those were the days when we were in Punjab. So summer vacation was a time when we would travel from Punjab to Pune to meet our grandparents. And when I was a young child, there was trains and 3-day travel. I mean, 3 days and 2 nights in 𝐤𝐞𝐿M Express. So that was the time when I used to get my elder sister as a captive audience. She would have little else to do, and I would have long stories to narrate. So captive audience was there for me to tell all I wanted to do. And railways still offers us that captive audience. I will not talk about this for short of time. Zindagi Express was something that the whole train we had hired way back in 2006 when LIC was celebrating its Golden Jubilee year. This train ran across the length and breadth of the country. This was actually an exhibition on the wheel. We don't get such opportunities anymore, but we have train wraps, we have train wraps, we have metro wraps, and then this is Vaishali in Delhi. The whole station has been branded, Alpha 1, Shivaji Nagar. So, and then in the station, and like, this is the kind of advertisement inside the compartment where you have people traveling and they have little else to do, and you have a captive audience, and you can really tell everything that you want to tell. You know, the long stories about your product, the features, the benefits, everything. So, and then bus shelters is again a very good medium. And we talked about, Mr. Raghunath presented how many buses, about 20 lakh buses we have, and the number of passengers that travel every year. So it is bus again we are using extensively inside bus. And way back in 1960s, LIC has been using transit media extensively over the years, even when transit media was really formalized. We were using transit media. This is called camelback. I mean, posters carrying on camelback. So this is what we were doing way back in 1960s. This was our initiation into transit media way back then. And I'll rather skip this number. I wanted to tell you about, give you a perspective on the expanse or the huge operations that LIC has. Indonesia has 269 million people living. LIC has 350 million policies serving. So the number of policies we serve, the number of customers we serve are more than the population of 4th largest country in the world, right? So that is the reason we need to, I mean, when you talk about airport, when you talk about bus, when you talk about even trains, you leave out the rural population. How do you reach people who are there deep down into rural areas? So this is what we have initiated on our own. So we create Bima Rath. So you just hire a Tampo, brand it with LIC, put on the loudspeaker and the pamphlets, and your sales force is also inside there. These Bima Rath goes across, we create a whole fleet of Bima Rath, and they go across towns talking about our products and creating customer education. So, and you also have, I mean, this gives you the flexibility even going vernacular. So I do understand that for BFSI, I mean, it's very clear, I mean, I think I made myself very clear here, that why BFSI can leverage transit media very extensively and very effectively, because the one reason is you have captive audience there, and an audience which is sitting there to listen to you, and in the advertiser, in the sponsors video that was shown in the beginning, there was a line which appealed to me very much, which was creating miles to mileage. Okay, so yeah, so that is what I think transit media is offering to us, creating miles to mileage. Thank you so much, and we look forward to creating lasting relationship and mutually beneficial relationships. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you, Mr. Raghunath.
Thank you so much. Really very, very impressive.
Hi.
Yeah.
You mentioned that in your hoardings, because it's a product-heavy, a text-heavy product that you're selling, and it's very important for you to talk about benefits and all of that. So my question and my apprehension rather would be, you're using different types of media. Hoarding is a long-distance viewing for any consumer.
Yeah.
Why would you not use a hoarding for a campaign or a brand awareness and talk about the product per se on various other mediums which are a close distance viewing?
We have already accepted this feedback, and if you see the newer designs of our hoardings, they have been changing, so they are less texty than what they used to be.
Yeah, because
but I still know, because LIC is a big organization, and not everything is controlled from the corporate office. So everybody is tempted to convey more and more when you hire any medium. So that's the reason some of our hoardings, if you still see, they're texty, but we have taken that feedback, and our hoardings are changing their look.
Thanks.
Yeah.